Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, we have highlights from the game between Castleford Tigers and Huddersfield Giants in the Super League. We also have the results, scorers and previews to the 3 NRL games played on Saturday. And Broncos Starlet signs a new deal. Friday evening means that we turn our attention to the Super League, as there was one game played on Friday night, which is a bit different, as they've decided to move the fixtures a little bit along so that everyone can watch the games and in relative comfort. Now, here are those fixtures. Friday night sees Castleford Tigers face Huddersfield Giants on the live game at the Mendo's Jungle as we go into July at round 17. Hull FC plays Leeds Rhinos Saturday at 3 o'clock, while Saints play Catalans Dragons in Perpignan, as the kickoff at 5 PM UK time will be seen on Sky Sports again. A little bit later than that, Toulouse play Hull KR on Saturday to see if Toulouse can move closer towards Wakefield Trinity, who play Wigan Warriors on the Sunday at 3 PM, while Warrington Wolves host Salford Red Devils. But tonight, as we said, we're turning our attention to the Friday fixture, and that is Castleford Tigers versus Huddersfield Giants, as these two are competing against each other to move further up the table, with Huddersfield looking at top 2 ambitions, with putting pressure on Wigan, while Castleford are looking to cement their place in the playoff picture. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. Axl Rose may have inspired to write the lyrics to the 1987 Guns N' Roses hit by a visit to Seattle, but similar feelings may be elicited by those teams who travel to one corner of West Yorkshire. Castleford's Tigers Mendo's Jungle, still Walden Road to those who remember the days of the Tigers, Rhinos and Wolves and other wildlife that were prowling the pitches of the Betfred Super League. And it has been home for the club since 1927, with local rivals Wakefield Trinity Bellevue, now undergoing redevelopment, remains the last of the top flight traditional grounds. Castleford forward Joe Westerman, born in nearby in Pontefract, has experienced it from both as a supporter and player, and with the Tigers' attendances so far averaging around 8,230, he is determined to keep the team keep making the most of the home advantage. Huddersfield Giants become the latest team to enter the jungle in 2022 in the opening match for round 17. They are also aiming to set a club record of 7 straight wins in the competition after their 38 points to 10 away victory at OKR last time out. Third place Giants will be facing a Cas side which stunned Catalans Dragons in a golden point extra time victory thanks to a drop goal from Danny Richardson, which secured a 17 points to 6 win and put Lee Bradford sides in the top 6. Ashton Golding is relishing the prospect of taking on a team on their home patch, which beat the Dragons side, battling out with them for the top of the table places. With the rest of the game, Castleford have Niall Edwards available again for the visit of Huddersfield following a spell out through injury, while Jason Carey comes into contention as well. The Giants, meanwhile, could have recent signing Toby King making his debut. Whoever lines up for the Betfred Challenge Cup runners-up, though, Westerman knows Castleford will need to produce a similar home performance to the one against the Dragons if they were to take a step closer towards the playoff picture. And with that, here are the teams. Greg Eden starts at fullback in his return to the side, as the cast decide to go elsewhere apart from Niall Edwards. In the backs, it is the usual fare with Daryl Alford, Mahe Fanua and Jake Malmo coming back into the side with Beretta Faraimo on the other wing. Jake Truman and Danny Richardson pair up yet again to lead around George Griffin, Nathan Massey, Kenny Edwards, Alex Mellor and the aforementioned Westerman. Adam Milner is acting half-back, while on the bench we have Paul McShane covering if he's needed, Daniel Smith, George Lawler and Sua Matangi adding the extra oomph for the Tigers pack. While it is a debut for the the Huddersfield Giants, with Toby King partnering Innis Senior on the right edge. Tuilola here continues at fullback in an impressive season so far, and Jermaine McGilvray, fresh off his 200th try for Huddersfield Giants in Super League, is part of the experienced lineup on the opposite side, with Leroy Cudjoe fresh off his hat-trick last time out. Ollie Russell partners with Will Price this time, while Oliver Wilson and Owen Trout are the starting forwards. Chris McQueen wants to continue his form going into the latter parts of the season, while Michael Lawrence, Joe Greenwood, Seb Baker-Hefo and the aforementioned Ash Golding makes the bench. Some great work from Kenny Edwards at marker got Castleford up and running as Jake Truman picked up the ball and passed the ball out to Daryl Alford, who went over on the 8th minute for the first try of the game. This was converted by Richardson and Cass was 6-0 up. He just grabbed the arm. If he touched the ball, it would have been a knock-on or a penalty. But he grabbed the arm, which meant that Cass could play on. Great play. Easiest try of the season for Daryl Alfords. 7th of the season. Next, after Alfords played the ball and markers being out of play, so Jake Truman broke through the Huddersfield Giants line and ran, getting past Tuilola here and the chasing defenders to score in the same spot as Alfords. Richardson again converted for 12 points to 0. Just a good spot and scoot by the halfback as he got through that weak Huddersfield defence, to be honest. Cass were in once more as it was Daryl Alfords who got on the end of a good flowing move. Paul McShane scheming from Westerman, who passed the ball out to Truman, whose over-the-top ball almost got intercepted by Jermaine McGilvray, but he had enough about him, Alfords, to get the referee positive, but the try needed to be checked for the grounding. The video ref had no problem and gave the try to Castleford Tigers. Richardson hit another stunning conversion and a penalty, and it was 20 points to 0 to Castleford. But after a bomb, Innis Senior got the ball to eventually Tuilola here, and Jermaine McGilvray possibly scored the try of the night with his patience, duck, dive, dipping and dodging. I know I keep saying that, to ground the ball in the eyes of the video referee and also the referee. After a few looks to see if McGilvray was in touch, he wasn't. He did so brilliantly, and he kept possession of the ball according to the video referee. And on the 33rd minute, Huddersfield were back on the scoreboard. Will Price nailed the conversion from the touchline, and Cass were still up 20 points to 6 at half time. In the second half, it didn't take long for Castleford's offload game to come into play, and they kept the ball alive with Kenny Edwards, Sui Matagi, and the ball ended up in Jake Mamel's hands, who scooted round, almost injuring himself in the meantime, to score Cass's 4th try of the game. This was the final try for Cass of the game, and Danny Richardson missed the conversion, and it's 24 points to 6. There was a penalty for Richardson that extended the lead to 26 points to 6 due to an offside, and Huddersfield decided to start playing on the 78th minute after a ball found Chris McQueen a gap while Paul McShane was in the sin bin for dissent. Luke Yates and Will Price and Mahe Fanua overrunning his defensive options to score right to the posts, which Price converted. Another ball to produce a gap for Luke Yates found Will Price, who scooted round to score underneath the posts, which he also converted. And with all that being said, Castleford Tigers win 26 points to 18. We now move on to the NRL as round 16 continues with Saturday's games. There were 3 games to cover, and here are those 3 games. So the opening match sees the improving Canterbury Bulldogs play Cronulla Sharks, while North Queensland Cowboys play Brisbane Broncos in what has become the surprise package and pairing in the top 8 so far this season. South Sydney Rabbitohs and Parramatta Eels closed up the 3 games on Saturday as they look to get it in, cementing, should I say, those top 8 places. So let's begin with our first game as we look at the Canterbury Bulldogs facing off with Cronulla Sharks, and having climbed off the bottom of the ladder with consecutive wins, the Bulldogs are looking to continue their resurgence against the 5th place Sharks. With Matt Burton and Josh Adokar combining superbly, the Bulldogs have racked up 70 points in the past fortnight to blow up the Eels and the Tigers off the park, and they look to be enjoying their footy under new interim coach Mick Potter. The Sharks started fast with wins in 5 of their first 7 games, but have been inconsistent with the ensuing 7 games, with victories over the Titans twice and the Warriors twice, punctuated by losses to fellow contenders Brisbane, Canberra and the Roosters. Coach Craig Fitzgibbon will be looking for his side to make a real statement against the Bulldogs ahead of the huge month in which they face the Storm, Panthers, Cowboys and the Rabbitohs. Anyway, let's look at the teams. For the Bulldogs, a late positional switch for the home side with Corey Waddell coming into the starting side for Raymond Fatale-Mariner even. Who goes back to the bench. Coach Mick Potter will miss the clash due to isolating with COVID protocols. Declan Casey will make his debut after being called into the centres to replace Corey Allen. Matt Burton will play after his stunning Origin debut, while Kurt Morin is good to go after picking up a shoulder injury on debut against the Tigers in round 15. The Sharks, there's only one change for the visitors, with Cameron McInnes moving to the bench and Dale Finucane starting. The Sharks will roll out the same side that downed the Titans, with Sif Talakai and Nico Hines returning from the victorious Blues camp, and Ronaldo Mulitalo riding high after a fine test debut for the Kiwis. Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, it was the Sharks' day as they won 18 points to 6. Jake Alvarillo scored the only try for the Bulldogs just before half-time, with Matt Burton converting, with Ronaldo Mulitalo opening the scoring on the 5th minute, with Nico Hines converting. It was 2 tries in the second half and 2 conversions. That settled the game, with Sione Katoa scoring on the 50th minute, with Britton Nikora on the 63rd. Nico Hines converted 2 more goals, converted the 2 tries, but missed a penalty. But it was all for naught as the Sharks carry on with their wins. Let's turn our attention to the second game now, with Queensland's 2 teams, North Queensland Cowboys and Brisbane Broncos, going up against each other. And the state of Queensland may be feeling a bit blue after the representative week, but the Cowboys and the Broncos should restore some pride with one of the games of the round on Saturday. Not since 2016 will the local Queensland derby have so much hype in the lead-ups, with North Queensland sitting in 3rd spot, while the Brisbane Broncos are nicely placed in 5th. With a host of players taking part in Origin 2 and across the representative weekend, both sides have also benefited from the bye week and will be fresh ahead of the Queensland derby. The corresponding clash in round 3 belonged to the Cowboys in a 6-2 romp at Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane have responded since then, winning 9 of their past 12 games in total. Now, let's have a look at the teams. Jason Taumalolo played 67 minutes for Tonga against the Kiwis and will back up his performance with a return to the team, while Maroons trio Valentine Holmes, Murray Tulagi and Jeremiah Nane have also been named in the team. Mid-season recruit Luciano Leilula officially joined the Cowboys during the rep round and will make his club debut in what will be his 100th NRL appearance. Back rower Tom Gilbert is ready to return from an eye injury, so Jermaine Tanoa Brown reverts to the bench. And veteran winger Carl Feltz is amongst the reserves as he closes in on a return from a knee injury and could be added to the side on game day. We're less than 24 hours out, and that's what the current thinking is. A huge boost for the Broncos has come in the form of captain Adam Reynolds returning from a rib injury, while Blues prop Payne Haas has been named despite suffering an ankle injury in Origin 2. Pat Carrigan and Kurt Capewell played over 60 minutes each for the Maroons in their loss, but have been named to be in the squad along with Selwyn Cobbo, as have Katoni Staggs and Keenan Palacia, who was on international duty with Tonga and Samoa representatively. Ezra Mam will remain at 5'8", with Tyson Gamble dropping out of the reserves. The week, though, for the Broncos has started off well, as Selwyn Cobbo confirmed his future with a new deal. The young gun and Queensland Maroons rookie has officially confirmed his future by re-signing for the club until the end of 2025. The 2-year extension will see Cobbo remain at Red Hill on an upgraded package after previous reports suggesting that 14 clubs had shown interest in Cobbo. Despite that, the Broncos had an exclusive negotiation period with the young gun until November the 1st this year, given he has already contracted to Kevin Walters' side until the end of next year. Cobbo had previously stated his intentions to remain at the Broncos, and while it was believed nothing would be finalised until at least the end of the ongoing State of Origin series, where Cobbo has debuted this year, and will play in the decider for the Maroons in a fortnight, the youngster has signed on the dotted line. It is reported he could turn down up to $400,000 per season to remain with the Broncos, with one club weighing it up a deal believed to be worth $4.5 million over 5 years. The extension now means that Cobbo won't be able to field official offers from rivals until November the 1st, 2024, which coach Kevin Walters said in the club's statement that the signing was great news for the Broncos. Selwyn has a great sense of the game, great skill and anticipation, and a feel for the game. He's a wonderful young player, and this is great news for the Broncos, Walters said. I feel that the bigger the occasion, the more involved he gets, and the better he goes. And we've seen that from his first grade, he's getting better all the time. I just love the way Selwyn goes about his work. He always has a smile on his face, and we love having him at the Broncos. The environment that Selwyn and his teammates are creating themselves is huge for us, and we feel we're on the right path as far as growing our culture as a team and a club. Despite some saying that he struggled in Game 2 of Origin for Queensland, the young gun has made 20 NRL appearances, with 13 coming this season, scoring 11 tries, and in his last 7 games at club level. That is 11 tries in 7 games. Can't beat that. It was the Cowboys who came away with a win after they put the Broncos to bed late with a 40 points to 26 scoreline. The Broncos scored first through Billy Walters, but they were pegged back immediately through Murray Tulagi. The two teams traded penalties as Valentine Holmes added 2 2-pointers either side of Adam Reynolds' penalty, making it a 10 points to 8 scoreline at half-time. The Cowboys took the initiative with 2 tries after half-time, breaking with half-time break with Griffin Neame on the 43rd minute and Carl Felt, a late inclusion in the squad on the 47th minute. The Broncos' first points of the half came through a Reults try on the 54th minute, but the Cowboys added 2 more through Reese Robson on the 61st minute and Jeremiah Nanai on the 65th minute for a scoreline of 34 points to 14. The game turned on its head as the Broncos added momentum to the game, mainly through Selwyn Cobbo, who first had a try chalked off for a double knock-on earlier in the play, but they did have Reults score his second on the game on the 74th minute, with Selwyn Cobbo finally getting a confirmed try on the 76th minute, giving a scoreline of 34 points to 26 going into the final 4 minutes. 8 points the difference. The comeback looks on as the Cowboys kicked off after the Cobbo's try, and the ball went out on the full, giving them a penalty on the halfway line. To Broncos, that is. They coughed up possession, which led to a try for Mui Tulagi on the 79 minutes to close out the scoring in the Cowboys' favour. Valentine Holmes added 8 goals from 8 attempts, while Reynolds added 5 from 5. So it was the Cowboys who marched on, 40 points to 26. Now our final game comes from Parramatta versus South Sydney Rabbitohs, as Parramatta will travel down the road to Accor Stadium on Saturday night, looking to put 6-point buffer on the opponent South Sydney in the Telstra Premiership ladder. The Eels lead the Rabbitohs by 4 competition points in 6th spot, and if the results go their way, they could be in the top 4 by the end of the round. South Sydney are producing a very inconsistent season and must find some form if they're going to make a dent in this year's competition, after going down to the Dragons by 20 points in round 15. Latrell Mitchell's return will help, but overall, Jason Demetriou's side can't rely on the fullback's comeback from a long-term hamstring injury to spark a resurgence. The Rabbitohs have had the hoodoo over Parramatta in recent games for an aggregate scoreline of 78 points to 32 in 2021. Parramatta will expect to win, something they struggled with at times against teams below them in the ladder, while the Rabbitohs are on the verge of slipping outside of the top 8. And here are the teams 24 hours out from the kickoff. Latrell Mitchell is indeed back from a long injury layoff for his first game since round 5, so Cody Nikorima reverts to the bench and Blake Taff to the reserves. Damien Cook got through 46 minutes off the bench for New South Wales and is set to back up his performance for the Roosters. Cameron Murray copped a head gash but passed a HIA assessment and should be good to go despite his short turnaround. JRO got through limited time in Origin 2 and should be okay to play. Mark Nichols has been named to start as prop, with Tom Burgess going to the bench. There were no unexpected changes to the squad that was trimmed 24 hours before kickoff. For the Eels, Ryan Matterson dropped out of the team when the squad was trimmed to 19 men 24 hours before kickoff, with Marata Niokore named to start at lock. Parramatta had only Junior Paulo to worry about after Origin 2, with the big man getting through 43 minutes on Sunday night. The Eels international contingent included Niokore, Dylan Brown, Waka Blake and Maker Sivo, who got through their test matches unscathed and with a 7-day turnaround will be raring to go. Centre Tom Opacic joined the interchange in the absence of Matterson. It was the Souths who got the victory over the Eels as they won 30 points to 12. The game opened in a downpour with the conditions getting worse underfoot as the game went on, but it was a swift start for the Bunnies as Alex Johnson went over in the 3rd minute for the South's first points. JRO made it 2 tries for Sydney in the 16th minute, with Latrell's 2 from 2 with the boot. The game was being played in the Eels half, but the Eels tried to get out with handling less than impressive. They did have some sustained pressure and Clint Gutherson scored on the 21st minute. This was against the run of play as the Bunnies had forced 5 dropouts to be taken by the Eels. The pitch kept deteriorating and the mistakes were going to be costly at some point, which it was for the Eels as South went over just before half-time through that man Johnston again, who passed Wendell Saylor as a number 13 on the all-time try-scoring list in the NRL. Mitchell again added the extras for a half-time scoreline of 18 points to 6. It wasn't until the 61st minute for the first points of the second half, with the Eels on the ball with a great hit by Campbell Graham of the Souths. Dislodged the ball from his bigger opponent, and the resulting set sees Souths going right with the ball for Jackson Paulo diving over in the corner for a spectacular try. Mitchell nails the extras with Eels fans trying to put him off behind him. Souths then added another 5 minutes later after Mitchell with the ball in hands runs over Eels Reid Mahoney, passes to Ilias, who passes on to Damien Cook. And the Bunnies number 9 put on the afterburners to score near the post, despite desperate tackle attempts from 2 Eels defenders. Mitchell nailed the conversions for 30 points to 6 to Souths. But on the 73rd minute, Parramatta get in after some good field position through Clint Gutherson once again. The play of the ball is under the post for the Eels and they run the ball to the left. And when the ball reaches the Eels number 1, Gutherson runs on the outside of Graham and scores 5 metres in from the touchline. Moses adds his second conversion of the game to make the scores 32 points to 12 from that difficult kick. 73 minutes. How many play the balls did Eels have in the Rabbitohs half? 11. But with that, the Eels seem to finish off the game with a bit more impetus about them, but still come out 30 points to 12 in defeat. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide as we look to grow our magnificent sports with your help and hopefully my little words. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode in the comments below, as there is a lot to go through. Huddersfield fans, is it just a blip, this defeat against Castleford, or does it stem from a couple of players being injured, being too key for the team to not have included in the team? People like Reults, for instance. Broncos fans, Brisbane Broncos fans, how do you feel about Selwyn Cobbo extending his contract despite your loss in Saturday morning's games? Any of the NRL games caught your eye? The mud bath down in Sydney was an interesting one, wasn't it? Tell me what your thoughts are on how much you enjoyed it. I know I did. Throwback to the early 90s, late 80s, when I first started watching rugby league. Mud bath. Brilliant. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. But in the meantime, please stay safe. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.